I hope that you are well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. So, today we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on prefixes and suffixes. We'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on prefixes and suffixes. And this is a continuation of our previous lesson where we also did prefixes and suffixes. So now we are just going to continue. So prefixes and suffixes we are going to do over, I think, 2 more lessons or 2 more classes. So we are doing our grade 3 English lesson on prefixes and suffixes. And before we start, we're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. We're going to log in with our username as well as our password. Once we've logged in with our username as well as our password, we are going to select the subject of language arts, grade 3. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of prefixes and suffixes. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of lessons under the chapter of prefixes and suffixes. And in our previous lesson, we already did 3 of the lessons. So today we will do 2 more lessons on prefixes and suffixes. All right. So now, prefixes and suffixes. We said our chapter is prefixes and suffixes. Our subject is English language arts. We are doing grade 3. And the lessons that we are focusing on is to determine the meaning of the word full or less or less. Once you say the word, it will sound as less, but if you read the word, it will sound as less. And then to determine the meaning of the word ly or ness, which is ness. So we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So if you do want to go back, recap, go over certain things, then you can go to aplusstudents.ca. And on the board, we have the chapter, the subject, grade 3, as well as the specific lessons that we are focusing on. And we say a suffix, right? So firstly, a prefix, right? So at the moment, I just wrote here a suffix, but a prefix, it is a word that is added at the beginning of a base word, right? It is either words or letters, if you should put it like that, that is added to the beginning of a word, or let's say our base word. And this is a base word that can basically stand on its own. Yes, this is basically grade 3 to 5, but the main focus is on grade 3. So this is 3 to 5 prefixes and suffixes. So we say a prefix, it can be added at the beginning of a word or at the beginning of a base word. And once we add the prefix at the beginning of a word or a base word, and then it changes the word or changes the meaning of the word. And then a suffix can be added at the end of a word or at the end of a base word. And it also changes the meaning of a word. So once you add either a prefix to a base word, or you add a suffix to a base word, or you add both prefix and suffix, and then it changes the meaning of a word. And our lesson. So we said our lessons that we are focusing on is full or less, li or nis, which means that these are suffixes, right? So basically, our main focus is on suffixes, and we said a suffix can be added to the end of a word and it changes the meaning of a word. Meaning, if we have our base word, which is a word that can stand on its own, right, then that means that the word means it means something. As soon as we either add a suffix to the word, and then the meaning either changes completely or the meaning slightly changes. All right. So when it comes to the suffix full or less, so the suffix full means full of. So it means full of. And an example of full of is if we have a base word, right? So we have a base word, which is color. So color is different shades, right, of color. We have our primary colors, we have secondary colors, right? That is color. Red, blue, green, and so on. That is color. But as soon as we add the word full to that word colorful, color, because color is our base word. So now we add full at the end of that word, then the word becomes colorful. Which means that it is full of color. So it is colorful, and colorful means that it is full of color. And then we have the suffix less or less. And less means without. So over here, the meaning is definitely going to change of a word. Meaning color, right? So color. Remember we said color is different shades, is different colors. It is primary, it's secondary, red, blue, green, purple, right? As soon as we add less to the word color, and it means without color, because the word less means without. And remember, we said the word color is our base word. This is our base word, and this is a word that can stand on its own. As soon as you either add a word at the end of that word or you add it at the beginning of the word, then it means that you're either adding a prefix or you're adding a suffix. Suffix is at the end of the word, at the end of this base word, for example. And a prefix is at the beginning of the base word. And in this case, we first use the word color and then we use the word full or the suffix full. And we said the meaning changed then to full of color. And then we use the suffix less, and less means without. So less means without. And if we add the word less to the word color, there we have our base word, which is color, and there we have our suffix, which is less. So once we add less to the word color, then it means that it is without color, because we said less means without. So less means without. So whenever we have the word less as a subject, as a suffix, sorry, and then it means that we are saying it is without without something, whatever the base word is. And in this case, we say colorless. It is without color. Then we also have the suffix ly or ly, right? The suffix ly. So the ly or the suffix we add at the end of that word or the end of the base word. And once we add the suffix ly, ly means a certain way. So ly means in a certain way. For example, sadly means in a sad way. I remember being sad. If you just say sad, then sad is an act of being sad. But sadly means that in a sad way. And then we have the suffix ness. Ness. And the suffix ness means the state of being. And sadness means the state of being sad. So the suffix ness, it means the state of being. And we said sadness means the state of being sad. And remember we said a suffix we add at the end of the word or the end of the base word. And the base word is a word that can basically stand on its own. Most times you can add a prefix also to that base word, or you just add a suffix to the base word, or sometimes you can add a suffix and a prefix to that base word, and then the meaning will change completely. All right. All right. So we said when it comes to prefixes, right? We said prefixes are words that we add at the beginning of the word or the beginning of the base word, right? And there's a lot of prefixes. But here's about three examples of prefixes and here's examples of suffixes. So prefixes can be dis, which means opposite of, re, which means again, un, which means not, right? So once these words or letters are added at the beginning, and a prefix is added to the beginning of a word to make a new word. And then we have suffixes, and we said full is full of, and less is without. And a suffix is added to the end of a word to make a new priority. All right. So we went over two of the suffixes, which is full, which is full of, and less, which is without, right? But here we have some more suffixes, right? Specifically because we are mainly focusing on suffixes than we are on prefixes. And there we have a few of our suffixes, which is helpful, joyful, which is beautiful, so helpful, full. It's the fullness of helping people. Joyful, it's full of joy and happiness. Beautiful, you are full of beauty. And then we have package, valuable, friendship, importance, scientist, and so on. Then we also have brightness and happiness. So there's a lot of suffixes, but this is but a few suffixes, right? All right, so now we're going to a plus students.ca. All right. Okay. So a suffix we said can be added to the end of a word, right? So suffix we end at the end of a word and it changes the meaning of the word. So which means that when we basically add a suffix to the word, then it means that the word will most likely change, right? Which means not the actual word, but the meaning of the word. And the suffix full, we said it means full of. And we made an example of colorful, which means that it is full of color. And then we have colorless. So colorful is full of color. Then we have the suffix less, less or less, and that means without, right? And colorless means without color. I remember colorful or color is already lots of colors. But as soon as less is added, then it means that there is none. It is without color. So colorless means without color. All right. So respectful. If you look at the word respectful, what does respectful mean? Specifically, if you look at the word, what full means. So if you know what the word full means, then you will know what respectful means. So if we look at the word respectful, right, and we look at the suffix full, full means full of. So if the question asks, what does respectful means? So if full means full of, then it means that respectful will mean full of respect. So full of respect. Harmful, right? What does harmful mean? And if we specifically look at the word harmful, right, then it means that it is full of harm. So we have harmful, which is full of harm, and we have lifeless. Ooh, if we look at the word lifeless, then it means that it is without life. Because remember, we said the word less means without. So lifeless means that it is without life. So we basically need to know the meaning of the words, the suffixes, because as soon as you add it to a base word, right, and then it changes the meaning of that words. All right. All right. So now we are going to say, what does respectful mean? We are now about the test. What does respectful mean? Does it mean without respect, or does it mean full of respect? Respectful. All right, so respectful, we look at the word respectful. then yes, we can say it is full of respect. And full of respect is correct. So well done. Because remember, we said that full means full of something. So it means that our word now changes when we add that suffix. So full of respect was correct. So well done. What does joyless mean? Joyless. So what does joyless mean? Is it full of joy or without joy? Full of joy or without joy? All right. And remember we said less or less means without. So the meaning of joy less means without joy. Oopsie. Without joy. Oops. I apologize. So we said it is without joy. That is joyless. Joyless is without joy. What does boneless mean? Boneless does mean it's without bones or it is full of bones. Boneless. Yes, with no joy is correct. What is boneless? Boneless. Is it without bone or full of bones? So boneless. Yes. So we can basically then say that boneless is without bone because we specifically said that less means without, right? So if we add less to the word bone, then we can say it is without bones. So it is without bones. What does wasteful mean? Wasteful mean? Does it mean full of waste or without waste? Full of waste or without waste? So is it full of waste or without waste? All right, so wasteful means it is full of waste. Oopsie. So full of waste. And full of waste is correct. So well done. Full of waste is correct. So what does loveless mean? Loveless mean. Loveless. Does it mean that you have full of love? You are full of love? Or does it mean it is without love? What is loveless? Loveless. So loveless is full of love or is it without love? All right, so loveless, we can then say it is without love. Because remember, we said less means without. And what does playful mean? Playful. Is it full of play or without play? So playful, it is the first option, which is full of play. Yes, so it's full of play. All right, so now we're going to the next lesson, which is to determine the meaning of the word li or nis. So li or nis. All right. So determine the meaning of the word li or nis, right? Remember we said that if we add either the word li or we add the word nis to a certain word, then the meaning changes, right? The meaning changes of the word. And we go back to our whiteboard. So li and nis. So yeah, we say the suffix li, it means a certain way or in a certain way. And the suffix ness means the state of being. So the state of being as well as in a certain way. All right, so what does angrily mean? Angrily. Remember, we said that li means in a certain way, which means that angrily will mean in an angry way. So it's in a certain way. So it's in an angry way, it's in a happy way, it's in a joyful way. In this case, it is in an angry way. What does fullness mean? Fullness. So fullness. And fullness is the state of being full. And then we have kindly. Kindly. And kindly means in a kind way, right? In a kind way. So we said that ly, and ness, which is NESS. Ness means being full of something or the state of being full. And then we have the li or ly, which is in a certain way. So it's in a certain way. So even if we look at the word quickly, right? Quickly. All right. So now let's go to our test. So let's begin our test. All right. So what does ripeness mean? Ripeness, right? Ripeness. Is it the state of being ripe or in a ripe way? The state of being ripe or in a ripe way. So, ripeness is the state of being ripe, or is it in a ripe way? All right, so let's choose number one, which is the state of being ripe. And that is correct because ripeness is the state of something. What does freely mean? Freely mean, is it the state of being free? So, Lee, what does Lee mean? Is it a state of being free or in a free way? So, Lee. All right, so if we look at the word Lee, then we can say Lee is in a free way. And that is correct because it's in a free way. What does blindness mean? Blindness. So, blindness. What does blindness mean? Is it in a blind way or the state of being blind? All right, so if we look at the word blindness, then we can say it is the state of being blind. All right, so in a state, in a blind way, that is correct. So well done. And slowness. Slowness, is it the state of being slow or in a slow way? Slowness. Does it mean the state of being slow or in a slow way? Slowness. All right, so slowness, we can say it is the state of being slow. And what does cleanly mean? Cleanly. Is it in a clean way or the state of the being clean? So cleanly. All right, so cleanly, we can say it is in a clean way. So cleanly is in a clean way. And then we have softly. What does softly mean? Is it in a soft way or the state of being soft? Softly. Is it in a soft way or the state of being soft? So it's in a soft way. All right, so in a soft way. And then sickness. What does sickness mean? Is it without being sick? So sickness, is it without being sick or the state of being sick? So if we choose the correct one, or the meaning, we can say it is a state of being sick. All right. And what does boldness mean? Boldness. Boldness. What does boldness mean? So boldness. Boldness is the state of being bold or in a bold way. Boldness is the state of being bold or in a bold way. All right. So we can say that boldness is the state of being bold. And then the last one. What does poorly mean? Poorly. Is it in a poor way or able to be poor? Poorly. In a poor way or able to be poor? Poorly. All right, so basically, poorly is in a poor way. And that is correct. So well done. So far we did our suffixes, right? So as much as we say the chapter is prefixes and suffixes, we went over the suffixes, which is full, lis, ly, which is li, and nis, right? And we say a suffix is a word that we add at the end of a word or base word. So a suffix is a word that you add at the end of your base word or at the end of a specific word. All right. So basically, we said with our suffixes, right? It gets added at the end of that word. And once we add the suffixes or even prefixes to a specific word, and then it changes the meaning of the words, right? It changes the meanings of the words. And we said with full, it's full of something. Less, it's without. Li also mean in, it's also full of something. Li, in a state of. Li is in a state of something. And nis, right? Then we also have nis. It's like being able. It's like being able to be blind or poor or bold or so on. All right, so that is the end of our lesson. the lesson or grade of 3 to 5. Thank you very much for joining the class, and I really hope you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye.